So, what does it cost to live in Raleigh, North Carolina? On today's video, we're going to break it all down for you up next. Hi, this is Chris Morton, real estate broker with eXp Realty in Raleigh, North Carolina. And on today's video, we're going to go over the cost of living, what it takes to live in Raleigh, North Carolina and the surrounding areas. According to the Raleigh business newspaper, the Triangle Business Journal, it takes $81,000 a year to live comfortably in Raleigh. Is this true? Raleigh is known all over the country as one of the hottest cities for people to move to. Quality of life and affordability are two of the top reasons that Raleigh ranks so high on people's lists and in fact on a lot of national publications lists, including Bankrate.com ranks Raleigh the #1 city to move to in 2021. And Wallet Hub ranks Raleigh as the #3 best capital in the country of the 50 capitals, and for those of you who are geographically challenged, and also ranks Raleigh the #3 capital for affordability. But with the increasing number of people coming here, is Raleigh going to be affordable? Or are you going to be shocked coming here and seeing that home prices are up and everything else is up? Well, I can say from experience as a real estate agent that I've had a lot of clients here who come to our area with the perception that there's going to be a deal here, that you can get a great deal on a home and that everything is cheaper here than wherever they're from. In some areas of the country, that's true, and it certainly used to be that case here in Raleigh, but now with the number of people we have coming here, it's simply not the case anymore. Prices are going up and up and up, and a lot of people are getting surprised by that when they come for a visit. So let's take a look at all the things that make up cost of living and how Raleigh compares with the rest of the country. So let's start with housing. The median cost for a home in Raleigh is $321,000, which again sounds like a deal, but unfortunately that's 11% up from last year. And as far as renting goes, to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, you're going to pay around $1,010. A 2-bedroom apartment, you're going to pay about $1,250. And for a 3-bedroom apartment, you're going to be paying about $1,600. Should you decide to go the route of a single family detached home, you're looking at about $2,000 for a 3 or 4-bedroom house, give or take $500 or so. Next up, let's talk about salary. The median salary in Raleigh, North Carolina is $61,000, which begs the question, back to that Triangle Business Journal article we talked about earlier that said that you need $81,000 to live comfortably. Does this mean that half the population is not living comfortably? And also, does that take into account household size? Obviously, it's a lot cheaper for 1 or 2 people to live than 4, 5, or 6 people to live. And if you stay until the end, we are going to break down the different salary brackets and tell you what kind of house you can afford for that amount of pay. Next up, let's talk about gasoline. So, as we're filming this in March of 2021, prices have increased dramatically for gas since the beginning of the year, and we are now sitting at around $2.80 per gallon. And while this is relatively less expensive than places like New York and California, it is more expensive than some of our neighboring southern states because North Carolina has a higher gas tax. So this higher cost of filling up your tank is going to factor into your monthly expenses and your cost of living. For a lot of the rest of these categories we're about to go over, we're going to quote bestplaces.net, where the national average is 100, and we're going to compare Raleigh to that national average. So what you need to know is anything under 100 is cheaper than the national average, and anything over 100 is more expensive than the national average. And one of the cool things about bestplaces.net is you can go there and compare Raleigh to another city to see how each compares. For example, here we're pulling up Los Angeles, and you can put it side by side with Raleigh and see how each one stacks up in regards to housing, transportation, all kinds of things. This is a really cool feature. We highly recommend you go to bestplaces.net and check this out. However, you gotta wait till the end of the video. Don't do it while the video is going on. That would not be nice. We know you're doing it. Next up, let's talk about the cost of groceries. Now, there are a lot of different grocery chains in our area, so that allows you to benefit as a Raleigh resident because they're all gonna be competitive and prices are gonna stay down. You'll also see a big difference in grocery prices depending on where you shop. If you go to a low frills budget place like Lidl, Aldi, or Food Lion, your prices are going to be much different than some of the more upscale places like Whole Foods, Fresh Market, that sort of thing. BestPlaces.net gives Raleigh an overall score of 100.3 in groceries, which is pretty comparable to the 100 score of the entire nation as a whole. That is, however, a little bit surprising. North Carolina is known for growing a lot of fruits and vegetables, raising pigs and cows, so you would think that the Raleigh grocery prices would be a bit lower than they are, but that is the reality of the world we live in. Next up, let's talk about the cost of healthcare. BestPlaces.net gives Raleigh an overall score of 97.3 for healthcare, which is lower than the entire state of North Carolina, which gets an overall score of 107.3 for healthcare. So people in Raleigh are actually paying less for their healthcare than people in North Carolina as a whole. We can attribute this to the fact that there are some major teaching hospitals in our area and the 3 universities that are affiliated with them. Next, let's look at taxes. The sales tax in Raleigh, North Carolina is 7.25%. The income tax for the state of North Carolina is 5.25%, and that is a flat rate. And let's look at property taxes. In Wake County, which is the county Raleigh is located in, property taxes are 0.6% of total assessed value, while in Raleigh, property taxes are an additional 0.3552% of assessed value. So the Raleigh homeowners are paying a total of 0.9552 in assessed value of their home in annual property taxes. Next up, let's talk about utilities. BestPlaces.net gives Raleigh a total score of 99.1 for utilities, which is fairly comparable to the 100 score for the national average. Next up, transportation. BestPlaces.net gives Raleigh a score of 88.3 for transportation, which is quite a bit less than the 100 score for the rest of the country. Now, bear in mind that in Raleigh, the vast majority of people use cars as a way to get around, mainly because our public transportation system, while it exists, isn't very good and it doesn't go to very many places that most people want to go to. So, let's talk about what all this means in relation to what kind of home you can afford. We're going to break it down by income level so you can understand what kind of home matches your income level. But first, we need to give a disclaimer. We are not mortgage brokers. These are general numbers to give you kind of a frame of reference, to give you an idea of what kind of home you can afford. But if everybody's situation is different, so we recommend you email us at info@themortongroup.com and we can put you in touch with a mortgage broker that can give you specific numbers for your specific situation. Okay, so let's break it all down. If you make $40,000 in income a year, it's going to be tough for you to find a home in the city of Raleigh. Prices in Raleigh have skyrocketed so much that there's just really not that much inventory in the $140,000 to $200,000 price range, which is generally what someone with a $40,000 a year income can afford. There are some areas in the rural parts of the county or some of the suburbs where you can buy a smaller home, usually around 1,000 to 1,800 square feet. Most people in this price range are probably going to be renting if they do live in the city, and they're really going to have to be tight on their budget depending on how many people live in their household and what their lifestyle is like. If your household earns $80,000 a year, you can probably afford a home in the $200,000 to $400,000 price range. This is the median home price for a house in Raleigh, and you're getting anywhere between 2 to 4 bedrooms in this house, depending on if you're buying a detached home, a condo, or a townhome. Again, this is a median price for a home in Raleigh, meaning a lot of people are looking. It's a very highly competitive price bracket. And in fact, it is the most competitive price bracket for a home in the Raleigh or the whole Triangle area. If your annual household income is $120,000, you can likely afford a home somewhere in the $400,000 to $700,000 price range. Now, this home will have anywhere between 1,500 and 4,500 square feet, depending on what kind of home you're interested in buying and where it is located. This home will also have anywhere between 3 and 5 bedrooms. Not quite as competitive of a price band as the $200,000 to $400,000 homes, but still quite competitive, and so you would need to be prepared to make a very quick offer and make a very quick decision on a home in this price. Now, if you make over $200,000 in annual income, you can afford a home approximately $500,000 all the way up to $1 million plus, which is basically any home in the Raleigh area. But keep in mind, if you are looking to buy in downtown Raleigh and you have $1 million to spend on a home, your home is going to be quite a bit smaller than if you were looking in other parts of the city and in other parts of the county. Also, please know that if you're looking for an estate home, a luxury home, you're probably needing to spend anywhere between $1.5 million up to $4 million for that home. So, do you need that $81,000 a year income that the Triangle Business Journal talked about in that article? Well, it all depends on what your idea of living comfortably looks like, as well as, of course, the number of people in your household. To get more accurate info based on your household size, we recommend you check out this website from MIT. It breaks down what your wage needs to be to live comfortably based on your household size. So tell us what you think about all this in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We have some very exciting videos coming up in the future we can't wait to share with you. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Bye-bye.